Welcome to the Shipley Runs podcast. I am here with 4 amazing young women who are getting ready for the PTFCA state championships at Penn State University this coming weekend. They've had a historic, record-breaking season thus far. I am here, of course, with Claire Goldstein, Elle Viscardo, Nina Letts, and Matilda Hoffman. And we're here to learn more about them. We're here to learn more about the relay, and also some lighter fare also along the way in terms of just preferences and who would survive in Hunger Games and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Where we're going to start is actually with sort of the origin story of each of these girls. How did they get into running? How did they get to this spot? How did we get here? Because as awesome as this has been, they've all had to get here via different paths. So we're going to start with Claire Goldstein. Claire, tell us how you got involved in running and into this sport.
So I used to go to a small, public school in Northeast Pennsylvania called Honesdale. And then my sister started to be recruited for basketball to Shipley. And then I was also recruited here for track, but making the decision was really difficult. But I'm glad I did it. So I came halfway through the indoor season this year as I stayed at my old school to play field hockey. And then I came here midway through the season, but was welcomed really well, and now I'm happy to be here.
Let's now hear from Miss Ella. Yes, thank you, Ella.
Well, I feel like running has always been introduced to me early in life since my parents were both they encouraged me to try it. I did a bunch of healthy kids races, and that was kind of the start. And then I tried it in middle school because my mom was the coach for middle school, so I was kind of around it a lot. She would always talk about her plans for the practice, and I started doing it in middle school, and I kind of fell in love with it, and I realized I was actually pretty good at it, so that motivated me to keep going, and here I am, and I'm still loving it.
Amazing. Nina Letts, the senior on the relay. Tell us about your origin story. Yours is maybe the longest.
Well, not really, but in 6th grade, I had to choose a sport to do. And I had played soccer before, but I really hated it. So I definitely didn't want to play soccer. And then the only other option was tennis. But then I had I did tennis one summer, and my tennis coach was evil. She was the worst person ever. And so I decided that
no names.
I have no idea what her name was. I don't remember. She stole a stuffed animal from me because I won the tournament, and then she decided that I shouldn't have won the tournament anyway. So I decided I wouldn't ever play tennis again. So the only other option was running cross country. And that's how I ended up here.
Thank you to that ill-named tennis coach for sending us the amazing Nina Letts. And last but not least, our youngest member of the relay. This is Matilda Hoffman. Tell us your origin story.
I've been going to athletic events since I could walk, and I did a bunch of little healthy kids running series races, and I played soccer, and I swam, and I did literally every sport my parents could enroll me in. And I'm an incredibly competitive person, and I was terrible at all of the other sports. So then when I came to Shipley in 6th grade, I played soccer and was terrible at it. And then I ran indoor track, and I was I'm actually kind of good at this. So I just quit soccer and all my other sports and just ran because it was fun, and I was good at it.
Thank God you were terrible at soccer.
Yeah, I was terrible at soccer.
Awesome. Okay, so I think the really fun thing about a relay is that it's 4 unique people all coming together and forming this team within a larger team. Obviously, you all are part of the Shipley track and field team. Not everybody understands, I think, track or has been around it. So there's this series of races that are referred to as relays, and typically they have 4 people on it. For those that are not super familiar with it, how would you describe, how is a relay different than a regular race? I think most people understand what a regular race is. How is a relay different than that? And maybe also, how is it different than other traditional team sports? We'll start with the most team sport person in the room. That would be Claire. So she'll tell us what she thinks.
So my other sport is field hockey, and I think what makes it so different is it's more delicate. Within a field hockey game, you have so much more time to kind of work together or make something happen, but I think a relay is so 5 seconds can make all the difference, especially in the relays that we're running in the 800. So I think it's just so much more delicate than another team sport, and there's less time to make things happen, but that also makes it a lot more exciting because it's a full send kind of moment. So I think that's what makes it really exciting.
Also, it's only 4 people, so it's not a full soccer team or anything, and I feel you really build a strong bond within you're doing the same relay every time. A soccer game isn't going to always go the same way every time, obviously, but like you kind of like knowing what to expect, and you know it's gonna feel like pain, so you're kind of bonding through that too.
I think it's very much in that like every person has an equal lift. In like the team sport, you have attackers, you have midfielders, you have defenders, and you have like a goalie, but everybody has the same job, but because it's unique people, everybody does the same job in different ways. And I think it's like a coming together of all kinds of different runners to create something really special.
Claire was really impressed with that answer. She was giving you the applause over there. That was great. Nina, your thoughts on how a relay is different than a regular race?
A relay is different than a regular race just because there's like you're just running on your own. The reason, like, it's very self-motivated. And I guess you have to be self-motivated when you're running in a relay, but there's also kind of, like, I don't want to say pressure because it's not necessarily negative, but just, like, I guess pressure from the fact that you're running on a relay. It's different because you're doing it for other people too and not just for yourself. I don't really know how it's different than a traditional team sport because I've never done a team sport, really.
This is all you've ever known.
Yeah, but I would say that it's so much better, I'm sure.
I love the conviction on that. I think one of the things that I've always felt that's different about a relay is that everybody does it individually. So like, even though this is like a small team, everybody has their moment to shine. Everybody has their chance to go out there and make something happen. Whereas in other traditional team sports, everybody's kind of playing at the same time. Some of the blame can get cast around. Some of the glory can get cast around. In this case, everybody gets the spotlight and the feature for at least 2 to 3 minutes at a time, given this particular relay. We're hoping for close to 2, not 3. Here is my next question. So just a little context for our listeners. This relay has been so special this year and so lights out. We've shattered the school record. We've run an extremely elite time for this particular indoor season. We're currently ranked number 8 in the state of Pennsylvania, and we're in the top 50 in the nation. So these girls have figured out a way to make this into something really, really, really special. I'm wondering, for our girls, when did you first realize that this might be something special?
Definitely the first time we did the 4x8 at Penn. Actually, I don't know if it was the first time, but I think we all know what I'm talking about. And we all just ran like so well. Like everything was so it's very rare for things to be perfect in a relay, but I feel like everything just went so perfectly. And the amount of like excitement that we had after that race too, I knew it was something special. And on our cool down, we were like even like talking about it and how like this is like the best moment I've ever felt in track.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't really on my radar before we ran it at Pennot as well. But I just remember like Matilda coming through and I was like, whoa, that's crazy fast. And then Claire was going crazy fast, and then I was just telling myself like, okay, I really gotta run because it could be something special. Like this could be really fast. Yeah.
Mine was more like the lead up to the race. It wasn't necessarily, I was the first leg, so I didn't get to watch anybody else have their like, oh my god, that's incredible moment. But I knew I like really, like I loved everybody on the relay. And like I was standing on the line and I was thinking, well, this could be something really great. And then I didn't actually get to watch Claire's leg because I was like laying on the ground being dramatic, per the usual. But I saw Nina maybe on like her second lap, and she was going so fast. I look up at the clock and I was like, oh my god, I thought I read it wrong. And then like it hands off from Nina to Ella, and Ella just like takes off. And I was like, wow, that is incredible. And then the time like flashes up on the board. I'm still like trying not to vomit. And I'm like, wow, we just like did that. All of us just did that together. And that kind of like put it in my mind that we had just done something that like really didn't think we could do, but somehow pulled it together.
I feel like I really didn't realize till after. Like, I don't know, because it was literally my second 4x8 I've ever ran. I just remember, like, I really distinctly remember the cool down as well. I think we all had a moment where we're like, oh my god, we can go so far with this. And it was just like the best adrenaline high, the reason you run track, all those things all like culminated into one moment. That's what I remember.
So you all are obviously running the 800, hence the 4x800. And the 800 is, I think, the most unique race in track. I think it's also the most painful race in track in terms of just intensity and what you kind of have to go through that last 300 to 400 meters. I guess I'm wondering, alluded to the idea of it being painful and being uncomfortable. Tilda alluded to the idea of feeling like she's going to throw up after, all of which kind of comes with the territory. We've all also run the 800 in an open setting, meaning like a normal traditional race. The question I want to start with is, does the pain that you feel in a relay differ from the pain that you feel when you're running by yourself? Is it more? Is it less? Is it worse? Better?
I think 100% yes. I think when you're running like a solo event, or this is how I think about it, like I'm pushing however far I can just for me. And like when you think to push, it's like this is all on me. And then when you're in a relay, it's like I have 3 other people to push for. And I think it just makes it like 100 times easier to push in that situation because there's so many other people relying on you. Like, yes, people will be proud of you if you push in an individual event, but there's so many other people that will be excited for you and like for each other if you push in a relay setting, so it makes it a lot better.
I guess I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian. I don't really think that it is different pain-wise. I think mentally there's definitely a big difference. But it's all painful. But I think that's, like, part of it. Like, and, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing that it's painful. It's just that's part of it. And then you just have to have the mental side to be better, to push through the pain. That's inevitably going to happen. I don't really have an ability to kind of gauge, like, oh, this is very painful versus kind of, like, it's all painful. Like, it all sucks, but it's, like, good. Sucks. I don't know.
Worth it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, for me, like, watching that one night, watching all you guys race, like, and having that, like, excitement, knowing we're doing so great, actually made me, like, have more energy and more adrenaline in the start of my leg, and that made me, like, run faster, I feel like. And it was very painful, obviously, but, like, knowing that, like, okay, now it's my turn, this is it, like, it just gave me so much motivation to push more and more. And like Nina said, like mentally, it's way easier to push yourself when you know there's people counting on you.
I think that for me, I can deal with a lot more pain and I can go a lot faster if I can just keep it in like order mentally. And when I'm running, it's really helpful to me to like think about what makes me like tick, like what makes me go, why I'm running. And in an individual event, there's a lot of things. That'll get you through like 650 meters of an 800, just what you want, your goals, your ambitions. But I think that the difference in between that like mental side to the pain in an individual event versus a relay is when you're on a relay, you have what makes everybody else tick going for you too. So like, it's not just your goals on the line. It's not just your ambition on the line. It's everybody else's, because you have to give that baton to somebody who wants it just as bad as you. And you want to give it to them in a position to do something awesome. So it's a lot easier to get through it when it's not just like letting yourself down if you quit, it's letting everyone else down too.
Matilda, let's stay with you. So obviously, we've established, I think quite thoroughly, the 800 is a painful event. So for those of us that have never run it, yes, it is. There's a lot of discomfort that you have to endure in the later stages of it. But it's also really exciting. I'm wondering, Matilda, what is it that like you say to yourself when it starts to hurt? Do you have like do you like zone out? Do you have like a phrase? What is your strategy in dealing with that?
I don't zone out. If I zone out, I drop, and I don't want to do that. So I have to like keep thinking, but thinking about something else. During cross country, I started singing like in my head, and I realized that there were like a couple of songs that I knew all the words to. So when it gets like really bad, I start just like singing the words in my head to different like mostly Taylor Swift songs, and I just like sing the lyrics over and over again in my head until it's over.
Love that. Great strategy. Nina?
It kind of depends on the day. I don't really have control over what my mind goes to. So, like, it could be anything from just, like, trying to stare at, like, the back of the head of someone ahead of me. The last time I ran the 800, which was not a relay, but, like, it could have been, was right after I watched the women's figure skating at the Olympics. So I was thinking of Alyssa Liu, who was the one who won gold, who was in all of her interviews, she was like talking about how much like she loves struggling and she's just doing it all for fun, and you know, she won gold, so it worked out. So I was just thinking about that. I was like, this is so fun. Like, yeah, I'm really happy to be here. So I don't know, it kind of depends on the day.
Well, my dad is always screaming on the sidelines, as we all know. And to be honest, like that's very motivating for me. Like even if what he's saying is just like simple, like just like the excitement of it like kind of pushes me, and those words come into my brain, and I kind of just think of like, you're strong, like you can do this, like do it for them. And then I always think of like, okay, what's the next step? So I'll just be looking ahead and thinking like, okay, let's catch up to this girl now. And it's kind of like, it's a you feeling, like I feel like I'm in a different zone when I'm in a race than when I'm not in a race.
I agree with that. I feel like it's an out-of-body experience. Like, every time I finish a race, I'm like, yes, that hurt, but, like, did it actually happen? It kind of feels like. So I think I don't realize I'm feeling anything until, like, that last lap, I feel like, and the third lap of the 800. And that's when I focus on, like, cues that always come from, like, coaches or someone else, like the short steps, all of those things kind of help me. Like, I feel like if I notice the pain, that's what I think about, which isn't a good thing, but I still am able to push through it. It's a very, like, weird way to say it, but I, like, focus on the pain and just, like, I want to be done with this now, so just push through it. I think it's kind of my focus.
Sounds like you lean into it all.
Yes, exactly.
So we talked a little bit about pain, we talked a little bit about what it means. Let's do some more fun things about the relay, shall we? Some of the personalities that come with this and our quirks and things of that sort. So Claire, I'll start with you. Who would you say is the most nervous before races? Everybody gets nervous, but who is sort of uncontrollable in their nerves?
I think Matilda and I tie for this one.
Yeah.
I think it's just like a maturity thing with Ella and Nina. I feel like they are so experienced. They seem so, like, chill about it. And then I think there hits a point where Matilda and I just, like, lash out a little bit before we go. And I think we kind of tie for it.
Yeah.
Matilda, your thoughts on that?
It's definitely the two of us. It's me and Claire. I think we handle it in, like, potentially different ways. I think your way of handling is potentially more productive than mine. But, like, those two are just, like, more mature than us, and they know what they're doing. Whereas we're kind of just, like, kicking and flailing, waiting to get to the starting line.
They're very chill.
Yeah.
Chill. So, yeah.
Very physical.
Okay, so Matilda, who's secretly the most competitive person on the team?
Claire, have you ever been on an easy run with her? Easy. It's in the name. She has to win the easy runs.
Claire, thoughts? Do you agree, disagree?
I think we're all secretly competitive, like, which is a really good thing because I think we all push each other at different times, like, when it's needed. Like, there'll be a day that one of us doesn't feel good, but someone does, and so they push on that day. And then, like, Ella will push on the last 100, but maybe not the first rep. Or Matilda will, like, pace the first rep really well. So I think, like, combining all together, I don't think there's one person that's, like, extremely competitive. I think we all kind of secretly are, but we're all really good at hiding it. But it really works well because we all push each other at different moments.
Like on easy runs.
Nina, your feelings? Secretly most competitive?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think you can really do, like, distance running if you're not competitive because it is very self-motivated. You're out there and you could just slow down. Like, you could just stop doing it, right? And then you're never going to be successful. But if you're not competitive, if you don't want to win or be successful, then you're not going to try in the first place. So, yeah.
Let's talk about advice. Everybody becomes an expert right in the moment before the race, right? Ella, who gives the worst advice on the team? The one that you want to avoid at all costs?
I don't think there's bad advice that any of us give, but, like, I think Tilly is the most, like, like, anxiety ball, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, not like you give any bad advice, but you're just very, you know.
Oh, I'll own up to it. I give a lot of bad advice.
Such as?
See, if I told you, then it wouldn't, like, really be able to apply anymore.
I feel like it's always, like, something like, it's gonna be fine, we're just gonna hurt for 3 whole minutes. It's
But,
gonna
like,
be all
yeah,
right.
she's very, like, sarcastic with
It's,
it.
like, very sarcastic, but it's so real. Then you're like, oh.
But then she also gets, like in the mode, like, she doesn't say anything sometimes. Like,
Yeah, she goes
you can
quiet.
tell.
Yeah.
I think that's when I get the most nervous, is when Matilda is quiet and
Yeah.
Claire is quiet.
Yes.
That's when those two are quiet.
Yeah. I think,
I
like,
know that
their
we're getting
competitive.
nervous.
I think their competitiveness is more, like, outward, and that's why you say that, because, like, and also, like, you know, they're the very talkative ones, very, like, like, outward, like, motivating ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
So you
I feel
notice
like
when
me,
we
I
go
feel like
by.
me and Nina, like, keep it more.
Steady.
Time,
if
yeah.
you
It's a lot
will.
more
Yeah.
noticeable when we shut down.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, the question we've all been dying to know. Who would survive the longest in the Hunger Games? Nina, we all want to know your thoughts on this.
I really, like, I don't know. I feel like the Hunger Games is kind of luck-based, to be totally honest.
Ooh, hot
Like,
take.
I don't, like, if I run into some person, I'm just gonna get killed. You know, I don't think any of us are winning in hand-to-hand combat, I'm gonna be honest.
Could get the
So-
weapons, though, and stuff, right?
Yeah, but you can't get the weapons, because then you're running to the... Why don't we hear some other opinions on this?
Sure. Ella, tell us your thoughts. You are going to win Hunger Games?
I mean, I can see myself being good at it, to be honest. I think anyone but Tilly, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
she's just gonna be like, hi, and then get shot. That's how she won.
Friendly?
Or
Is
she
that
would
what-
like, or
Yeah.
she'd like want to go to like the cornucopia and get. Is that
Yeah.
She'd want to like go to the middle and get something, and she would not be able to resist it.
I don't think she would think before she does something.
Yeah, she'd just go for it.
You'd see candy in.
How about pre-race traditions? Do you have any quirks or like weird things that each of you do individually, or maybe even as a team?
Like we do the goddess.
Oh yeah,
But that's more
goddess.
cross country.
Well,
I watch the
feel
time.
like
I get a song and like I watch the splits go through. So like if I'm running an 800, I'll get like a song and I'll watch like the 32, 33 like go through on the song.
I like eat the same thing for lunch every day, and then when I don't, then it's sausage.
What is
it doesn't
that?
work.
What is the meal?
Chicken and rice.
There's
every
a
time.
somewhat infamous story floating around at this
Microwave
point.
sausage.
Yeah, when you eat other
eat
stuff, it
microwave
doesn't go well.
sausage.
I always have my Dunkin' iced coffee because I'm scared if I don't have it, I won't do good. Because every time I have it, I do like decently well, at least. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Now you're married to it.
Yeah. And I also, I also like blast music because that like gets me really hype. And the reason why I'm quiet on the van is because I'm blasting music.
You
I
have to
never
like
talk.
message her if you want her to like
Yeah.
talk to you. It has to go, Matilda Hoffman just sent you a message.
Interesting. How about you?
I'm not really a superstitious person or anything, so I kind of just do whatever. I
Watching
don't
the
know.
Olympics.
Yeah, like I
On
was
the van.
watching the Olympics on the van. That was actually a bad idea, so I won't do that anymore.
Maybe a Rubik's Cube sometimes.
But you know, whatever gets time to pass quicker so that I'd like get there. I don't know.
I feel like you're like chatty in the van.
Yeah.
Yeah, which like helps me.
Sometimes.
Nina's pre-race habits include dealing with all of our pre-race habits.
Yeah, that's kind
It's
of
just like
Nina's
getting
the mother.
through our pre-race habits.
Managing all of it. Okay, so we're recording this on Friday. In 2 days, it will be Sunday, and we'll have raced. And regardless of how it goes, we might, like, our goal is to do really well, to maybe get a medal, maybe run a good time. All those are, like, outward things. I don't really want to talk about those things because they pass relatively quickly with time. I'm wondering if you can try and project. I wonder what has being on the relay meant to you? Why has it mattered?
I can go first. So, being extremely new to Shipley, my first 2 weeks were not amazing at all. But I just remember thinking, like, if I get through this, I get to go to track, and I get to see these 3 girls, and I get to see the whole team. And I think that's just, like, brought me through anything. So I think thinking about the relay, it's not just the relay, I think it's the whole entire team as well. But just this relay has been, like, so important to me, making my transition to Shipley. And then I think just also proving to myself, like, I am a distance runner, because that's been a huge transition. Like, I used to be a sprinter. So I think just realizing that, like, I can run with these people, and it's just been really amazing to have this, like, little family that we've created.
I think it's made me realize, like, the power of a relay. Like, there's a difference if you just, like, put, like, 4 people together that don't really know each other, and they don't really know how they run, and they run a relay. It's not going to be, like, they're not going to do as good, I really think, because they don't have that, like, connection with each other as we have.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's like really great to be able to do so many things with all of you guys and like get these opportunities that obviously like individually I would not get to have, you know? And I think it's honestly like I prefer that I get to do it with other people because I like getting to like succeed and fail with people because it's like in the great moments it's better. In the maybe moments where we don't have the best race, like it's better to be with other people and kind of be able to work through it together. Yeah.
I think, like Claire, I was very much in, like, a transition time from, like, middle school to high school because I'm a freshman. And you get to do a lot of soul searching when you're a freshman. You get to try and, like, figure out what kind of a person you want to be. And I think that what this relay has meant to me is I've gotten to see 3 incredible examples of like what it means to be like successful and kind in high school. And I think that I would be in a much more shaky position, like establishment wise, like self-identity wise, if I didn't have people to like look up to, which this relay has provided. Like I also probably wouldn't know where I was going. Nina like drew me a map. She like walked me to class and I was like, that is so nice. When I get old, I want to be like Nina. I want to be so nice.
Speaking of age, Matilda is the youngest, but there are certainly other 9th graders on our team. There are a whole bunch of middle school people that are aware of you all and what you've done and kind of keep tabs on you and talk about you. And there are certainly people that you don't even know that are watching and following your example. This is sort of our last question. I'm wondering what you would say to younger runners that are watching you or looking up to you, or advice or general thoughts.
Okay, I feel like my best advice for anything, I mean, it's not very good advice, it's pretty average, but just like, you gotta always try your best in anything you do, because if you do that, you can't be upset if it doesn't go your way, because you did your best, you did everything you could. Just have fun with everything you do, because if you're not enjoying it as you're doing it, then you're not going to succeed. Your best is not going to be very good. So if you're wasting your time doing something that you hate, you're just going to be more miserable. So if you have fun with it and try your best, then you're going to succeed in some way.
I would say to block out the negative thoughts or negative people, because in running it's very easy to have those thoughts, since it's like a sport fully based on mentality, and if you're having those thoughts constantly being thrown at you, it's not going to go well, you're going to not enjoy it anymore. So I think in order to continue it and keep enjoying it, you have to just keep being positive to yourself, even if it's just kind of fake and telling yourself over and over, it eventually will become natural and you will really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think a big thing that Nina said is it has to be fun. It's a privilege. I think everyone always says it, you get to do it, but I think that's extremely important. When you realize that, I get to move my body, I get to work hard for others, I get to do all of this that some people can't even do. I think that's extremely important. And then I think the other piece of advice is, one of my favorite quotes is if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. And I think that's a huge part of running. You think it's so individual, and we watch the Olympics maybe and it's one person, but I think you realize that there will be so many people on your journey if you want to go far, and that's extremely important.
I think the really fun thing for me about this question is that I started out the little middle schooler who was looking at the high school team oh my God, that's crazy. I started running on the urban legend of Ella and Nina. And advice that I would have for me is that when I was in that position is that you kind of just have to go all in. There's no half doing running. And I knew that I wanted to go all in, but one of the things that I learned from this relay is that you have to have joy. Without joy and community, you'll never have the success, which I knew I wanted. I've kind of always known I wanted to succeed, but what this has really taught me is that the success that we want so badly, it has to come with joy, or it just doesn't exist in the same way.
Wow. I think one of the things, regardless of how Sunday goes, however things play out, I think one of the things that we could all be confident in is that, the connection that you all have made and the thoughts that you have around it and the feelings that you have towards each other, that was worth it in and of itself. Regardless of whether we get first, last, the middle, it's the most amazing thing or the worst thing. We've kind of already succeeded in so many ways, and I think that's the part that I'm the most proud of as a coach, is just getting to hear you all and how much of an impact you've had on each other. So, good luck this Sunday. Everybody will be cheering for you. Everybody will be screaming for you. And you got to enjoy the ride. You're already icons and legends if you can't tell. We just have to have fun with this, as so many of you gave really good advice on. To all the listeners, let's give them positive support and good vibes, and stay tuned to hear how they did. Bye.